Imagine you just picked up your first Cybercab. What are you going to do with it? Do you want more? 5, 10, 50, 100, thousands of Cybercabs working for you 24/7, 365? Because this is where I think I'm using my own knowledge of where Tesla is going and try to leverage my Teslas to buy more Cybercabs. And those Cybercabs will keep getting more Cybercabs and add it to my fleet. And I won't stop till I have thousands of Cybercabs around the country working 24/7 nonstop, picking people up from point A to point B in the Robotaxi network. Hey guys, it's Cyber Rob here coming from Cyber City. I wanted to show you something that I think should get your mind rolling in this Robotaxi space, all right? As you're aware, you guys know that I have 11 Teslas and I'm just waiting for this network to come online in order for me to put my cars on the network of Robotaxi from Tesla, okay? Now, you could say all you want. Hey, Rob, there could be a time where Elon says, no, you can't put your car on the network. That may be true, but this is what being an entrepreneur is all about and trying to swoop on these cars in order for me to make buku dollars. And CERN Basher on X, he's great. He has a lot of analysis on this, and this is the one that I really wanted to show you guys on the potential that these cars could make you money, right? 24/7. Now, let's go over this article that we have from him, okay? It's great. Follow him on X at CERN Basher. So he's great. He's a financial expert too. I think he does have. He's a chief investment officer at his Brilliant Advice, and that's his post. So I just kind of wanted to share with you guys what this potentially can do for you, okay? So it says if you purchase a Cybercab, how much money can you make, right? When Elon confirmed that the Cybercab would be priced at $30,000 or less before 2027, he wasn't just announcing a vehicle. He may have been announcing a new asset class. For the first time in history, an individual could potentially buy a fully autonomous vehicle and deploy it into a revenue-generating network, turning a depreciating consumer product into a cash-flowing machine. The question is no longer, how much does the car cost? The real question becomes, if you buy one, how much could it earn you, right? Dylan Loomis had a pretty good idea on this too, on his tweet. It says, Elon, to be clear, the bet was that Tesla wouldn't sell a Cybercab to a customer for $30,000 or less before 2027. Are you saying that specifically is going to happen? And Elon posted, it's gonna happen, right? So that's the clarification that I think that even caught me off surprise, right? Because I personally thought that when these Cybercabs are out, that Tesla was just going to take control of the fleet and just say, you know what? Tesla's going to take this. They're going to own majority of this Cybercab fleet. It's not going to be open to the public. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong on this, and I did not see it coming. I thought I was just going to have to put my cars on the network and get more cars and put them on the network, not knowing that I can get a Cybercab, okay? So here's the Cybercab model number one, the individual owner. The assumption is I assume that one Cybercab costs $30,000. For this model, I assume that the FSD costs $199 per month and Tesla takes 35% of the revenue generated from your Cybercab. I assume that charging costs are about 16 cents a kilowatt. Here are the assumptions. In my opinion, I think that $199 is too low. I personally think that it's going to be around $500 a month. That's right, folks. $500 a month, because you'll see on how much potentially it can make you, and then having $500 coming out of this is going to be nothing, pending on how long you leave it on the network, right? This is all depends on a lot of variables, but I personally think that the FSD subscription cost is definitely too low. A lot of people think that the $30,000 comes with FSD. That is absolutely absurd. That is not going to happen. You are going to pay an individual monthly price. I just don't know how much. And it could be the fact that if you have multiple cars, maybe on the network under the same account, maybe instead of paying $599, it's $499 or something, whatever the case may be. They might do it substantially. So let's go over some of these numbers, all right? So Tesla's Robotaxi network individual Cybercab owner, this is only key assumptions, right? Average speed of travel, 25 miles an hour. Average trip length is 5 miles. Empty miles percentage, 40%. Average load, unloading time is 3 minutes. Tesla shares of network revenue is 35%. Vehicle and battery life is 600,000 miles. FSD cost is $199. Vehicle utilization anywhere between 30 to 65%. Base fare is $1. Price per mile is $1. And the cost per minute of idle time is 42 cents, right? So the base fare and fare price of $1 per mile are very conservative. I agree with that. I think it's going to be higher in some areas, like San Francisco might be $2 or $3 when it starts off with, maybe even more, it just depends, right? But he's just going with the most conservative number. The usage is the model varies utilization rates from 30 to 65%. At 30%, the Cybercab is in service for just 7.2 hours per day, while a 65 utilization rate is 15.6 hours of day service of day. This leaves plenty of time for cleaning and charging. And I totally agree with that, right? Especially if you have a fleet and you have an operation of fleets of going, you could definitely make more money on the back end being a fleet manager on top of your cars being on the network itself. That's what I'm trying to do too, right? So trips and miles per day, given any assumption a 5-mile length trip is an average speed of 25 miles an hour and 3 minutes loading and unloading time. The number of miles per day ranges from 157, that's a 30% utilization rate, to 339 at 65% utilization rate, right? So you can actually see the utilization rate and the miles going up as time goes on. The more that you're on the network, the more miles you'll probably be driving, right? There's revenue sources in this model. He only includes revenue from trips. I did not include potential revenue from advertising. Yeah, right. Wraps on your car, maybe screens on the inside that are, doing advertising there too. Curated experiences, entertainment and connectivity, delivery or distributed inference, right? So that's those ones, but they didn't mention maybe food delivery. That could be another one. You can have rideshare. That's another one. Advertising. That's another one. You have the inference, which means that they're using the compute power from your vehicle in order to use it to train AI, get you paid from that using your electricity and your compute on the car. So if Tesla keeps 35% of the revenue generated, then the annual revenue from one individually owned Cybercabs ranges from $32,000 to $70,000 per year. And this ranges, right? Just because how long are you going to leave it on the network? Obviously, the longer you leave it on the network, the more money you potentially going to be making, right? So that's where this comes in. It says this is how much Tesla's take rate is in the red. And then the individual owners, I'm assuming that this is gross revenue, right? On it. So expenses, individual owners will have a number of expenses to cover. They include the cost of FSD, cost of the vehicle. So that includes if you have a payment that you're doing for financing, the cost of financing the vehicle, right? Oops, I just said that. And charging, insurance, tires and maintenance, EV taxes and other expenses. I assume that individual owners will clean the vehicles themselves, but Tesla could very well offer this service to Cybercab owners, in which case it would become an expense item, right? So you can see here on the expenses that they're going to be consuming, right? Leaving you with a gross profit of $14,025. Okay, and this is where your gross profit comes at a utilization rate of 30%. It is about $14,000. A 65 utilization rate is $40,000. I repeat, $40,000 on a conservative number for one Cybercab. And that's at 65% utilization rate. Tell me why that this is not an excellent revenue stream for you, right? I mean, doing $40,000 by watching your car on the network doing its own thing. And you're not even thinking about it. You're just watching your account just go up and up and up and up every single day or every single week, however they pay out, right? So you can see here is the good kind of, individual Robotaxi effort, like what it's going to be about, right? So you can see EV taxes, insurance, marketing, etc., right? So a profit after tax, if we make the assumption the individual Cybercab owners pay 30% in taxes, then the net profits range from $8,000 at a 30% utilization rate to $26,000, 65% utilization rate per year, per vehicle. I repeat, per year and per vehicle. You are making anywhere between $8,000 to $26,000 a year for using your car on the network, all right? That is humongous in my realm, right? So imagine me A good example, let's just say it's $20,000, right? But I have 11 cars that are on there doing its thing. So 11 times, let's say, $20,000, that's $220,000 a year in net profit. And trust me, the 65% utilization rate is too low for me. I want that at 100% as much as possible. I don't want to touch my cars unless they are going to come pick me up, take me to work, or take me wherever it needs to go, and then go out and go make more money. If I'm sitting at home, those cars are on the network 24/7 unless I'm cleaning it out or it's charging at my house. That's how I look at it, all right, guys? So here's the individual Cybercab owner, the net profit versus the net margin percentage. This is per vehicle. As you can see here, 25% all the way up to 37% for utilization rate, all the way up to $26,000. This is revenue per mile versus cost per mile. Is in this version of the model, the revenue per mile is 57 cents and the cost per mile ranges from 33 cents to 23 cents. So as you can see here from the utilization rates, as you can see that this is the cost per mile that's going on in this graph chart, right? There you have the gross profit per margin ranges for anywhere between 23 cents to 34 cents, right? Tesla's share of revenue with a 35% revenue take rate and FSD revenue, Tesla's annual revenue per individually owned Cybercab ranges from $20,000 to $40,000 depending on the utilization rate. So you can see how when Tesla is going to be printing money from doing nothing from their software, this is what I'm talking about, right? So imagine Tesla is literally making thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per vehicle on you just to get it on that network and go, right? Imagine you have hundreds of thousands, millions of these cars just out there flooding the market, taking people from point A to point B. I would almost assume that owning a vehicle might just be the kind of the horse and buggy of our time, that where individuals will just want to get around just in cybercabs or autonomous vehicles. One, because they're safer, and two, they're probably cheaper to own than an average car owner, right? And I get it, right? I'm going to hear all those people say, well, Rob, I like to drive all the time and everywhere. I just do. Well, so do I. But the thing is, though, is that when insurance rates go up, because they will, when you manually drive a vehicle coming in the near future, the insurance is going to be absolutely ridiculous for you gas owners to drive your car. I'm telling you this right now because one, it's going to be unsafe because there is a human behind there. And you're more likely to be less in an accident in an autonomous vehicle compared to a human vehicle that's being driven. I'm just telling you this, guys, because this is where I'm just taking a guess on where this is heading, okay? So Tesla's profitability, while individual owners make more money than Tesla's net profit ranges from anywhere between $8,000 to $23,000 with net margins ranging from 41% to 58% with just one source of revenue, trips. That is crazy. I mean, even at $10,000 at 10 million, let's say a million vehicles at $10,000, I think that's what, like $100 billion in cash or something like that. It's going to be freaking crazy, guys. When I say that the spigot is going to turn on, it's going to turn on, and that water is going to go everywhere. That cash is going to go everywhere, and Tesla is just going to be crazy, just swimming in cash. And this is what they want. Okay, here's the other assumption. This is Cybercab Model 2, the individual owner. For this model, I assume that the average speed of travel is 15 miles an hour, down from 25. Average trip length is 3 miles, down from 5 miles. The fare price per mile is $1.50 instead of $1. Charging costs are at 35 cents a kilowatt. Supercharging instead is at 16 cents a home, right? The gross profit at various utilization rates, the 30% utilization rates at $12,000 per vehicle. At 65%, it is a $38,000 per vehicle, okay? So, profit after tax, if an individual Cybercab owner pays 30% in taxes, then the net profits range from $8,500 at a 30% utilization rate to $26,500 at a 65% utilization rate. That is absolutely phenomenal. Even if you start to do different scenarios in your head where you don't have a lot of utilization rate, but you have a higher cost per mile, you have a bigger base cost per mile on, say it costs you $2 just to kind of use the service, and then the cost per mile after that's another $2. You can see where this is going, right? Where you can have so many scenarios in your head, which would be the real conservative, the semi-conservative, the bullish type of scenario, or the mega bullish, or the very bullish. I mean, there's so many scenarios that you can pop in your head with this in order for you to try to come up with your individual numbers, what seeds that you can see through this, all right? So the Cybercab model number 3, it's the individual owner. The assumptions for this model is that they as model 2, but with the only change is the fair price is $2 a mile, $2 per mile instead of the $1.50. Gross profit and various utilization rates. At a 30% utilization rate, it's $20,000. At 65% utilization rates, $55,000 gross profit, right? So as you can see here, here's the chart for it, right? That this is going to be the chart for this type of scenario, right? Profit after tax, if individual Cybercab owners pay 30% in taxes, then the net profits range from $14,000 for 30% utilization rate to almost $40,000 for 65 utilization rate. So that is just absolutely crazy with these scenarios that CERN has kind of laid out for us, right? So for the implications, if these assumptions are even directly correct, the Cybercab is not just transportation, it's productive capital. At lower utilization rates, the returns resemble a modest side business. A higher utilization optimized pricing, the Cybercab begins to look like a small autonomous enterprise capable of generating $25,000 to $45,000 in annual after-tax income for an individual owner for one car. What makes this especially interesting is that the alignment individual owners can potentially earn to attract returns, while Tesla simultaneously earns high margin reoccurring revenue from the take rates and FSD software subscription. And the analysis is only considers trip revenue, not the many layers of potential additional revenue. The implications go far and beyond transportation. It's about shifting who owns productive capital. Number 1, labor capital shift. For 100 years, most people earn income by selling their labor. A Cybercab model suggests something different. You buy a machine once, it works thousands of hours per year, it earns you while you sleep. Correct. That's a structural shift from wage income to capital income. If scaled, this could expand access to what was historically reserved for real estate landlord, franchise owner, and business operators, but now applied to mobility infrastructure. The micro entrepreneur economy. If autonomy works reliably, millions of individuals could become a small fleet operators. One vehicle becomes 2, 2 becomes 5, 5 becomes a small business. This creates a new category of autonomous fleet entrepreneurs, infrastructure investors, mobility asset managers. It lowers the barrier to business ownership dramatically. Does autonomy democratize entrepreneurship? This is where I'm saying where I'm taking a huge risk, right? It's a scary moment to where you have 11 cars on credit making money right now, a small piece, just waiting for this network to come on. If it ever does come on, that's the scary part, because I don't know when it's going to come on. And it definitely scares me in this manner, because that's where I'm heading and think about constantly if it's going to happen, if it's going to happen. But I always have to kind of tell myself, you are an entrepreneur right now, and I'm taking the biggest risk. And this risk is having all these cars just waiting for them to go online and start making me money 24/7, okay? So let's continue on. Number 3, wealth compounding and inequality. If Cybercabs generate strong returns, which they will, people with capital can buy more units. Returns compound, early adopters scale faster. This is where I'm hoping that I'm in the right position for this, which I think I am. If financing your Cybercab is accessible, this may become one of the first scalable productive asset opportunities available to middle-class households without needing $500,000 for rental real estate, $1 million for a franchise, a decade of business building. A $30,000 entry point is radically different. I 100% agree with this, and this is where I'm trying to tell people, if you are scared of AI, humanoid robots, a chat box, whatever the case may be, but you're not scared of an autonomous vehicle, go and get in a Tesla. Just go get in one, or get in a Waymo. They're everywhere around here in the Bay Area. I don't know where you guys are specifically from all my subs, but I'm letting you know. Get in a Tesla and let it show you how it works. Let that car make you money somehow, some way using FSD. As I said, I did a 1,900 mile trip from Texas to Nevada back here to California, and that was 1,900 miles, and I barely touched that wheel unless I was overtaking it to find a better parking or whatever the case may be. Small minutes like that don't bother me, okay? The redefinition of car ownership. Cars have historically been depreciating assets and expense-heavy liabilities. Autonomy flips the equation. The car that generates revenue is no longer a consumer good. It becomes a robot worker that's infrastructure and an attractive cash-flowing asset. That reframes personal finance. Instead of asking, can I afford this car? People will ask, what is the ROI on this vehicle? Okay. And I totally agree with that, right? And I think CERN said it really well, right? That's why when everybody tells me on X or gives me a comment on YouTube or Instagram is, hey, Rob, your car is a depreciating asset. Of course it is right now. But once Robotaxi is unlocked, you guys will be eating your words up and watching me posting daily content on how much money my cars specifically make through the day, through the week, what I do. That is what I'm trying to tell you guys and let you guys know that this is going to be for real. And I'm going to show you every step of the way and have full transparency on it. And I hope that you guys can start to realize what I'm seeing for you and your pocketbook to help your family in order to make it. Times are tough out there right now. I get it, guys. I get it. And it's only going to get worse with AI growing exponentially in this growth, right? And that's why I'm trying to say, as long as you get a piece of this pie, this $10 trillion market cap of autonomous vehicle rideshare. That's just rideshare. That doesn't include all the other ones that I just mentioned, the other 3 or 4, right? This is going to be one of the drastic shifts that a middle class person like yourself or a lower middle class person like yourself can get up to that upper middle class or middle class area in order for you to guys to lift your guys' self up and to get familiar with AI. How exciting would that be if you know that you can make money with this vehicle and you are just absolutely doing nothing but just monitoring your car and make sure that thing is on the road as much as it can be. All right, guys? So here's another good episode that I wanted to give you guys and show you my enthusiastic of this Robotaxi network and showing you professionals like CERN Basher. Please go follow him on X. He is great. He is on with Brighter with Herbert on that channel too. Go follow those 2 guys. I follow those guys and I like those guys. They give you a lot of good information along with what I'm trying to give you and relay to you in this type of fashion. All right. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys already know what to do. Comment down below. Are you a Tesla owner and are you going to put it on the Robotaxi network? Or are you just trying to figure out a way to try to make money somehow, some way? And you're thinking about getting a Tesla, but you don't really know because the payments might be high. Well, this could be your opportunity to get in this game with me. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing with my cars. And hopefully you guys can join me on this venture too. All right, guys?